Thank you all for your patience and letting us get everybody loaded into the Zoom here. Tonight, intro to spicules, AO Medical Korean spicule treatments, our masterclass, and Esti Sisters is going to be talking about that tonight. So today's presentation, a lot of you we know and you know us, maybe not have seen our faces, but hello. So we'll cover just a brief overview of who we are. And then some of you that are new, we're mentioning AO Medical. AO Medical, we'll just briefly cover how AO Medical fits into all of this. We're going to dive into what spicules are, and then specifically in the skincare industry. You guys have heard a lot of, or maybe some of you haven't heard about it, but I know there's buzzes going around about spicule treatment. So we will be diving into that. And then we've got 3 different treatments that AO Medical offers, specifically the Tiffany Peel, the Dr. Esti Peel and Glow treatments, including the illuminating and AC. There's actually 2 treatments for the Peel and Glow, and we'll be covering returning Dr. Eye Patch. And those are the 3 that contain the spicules that are available to us, and then also to you new people who may be interested. We also have something fun to share at the end about a new HOP, House of PLA spicule product, and that's going to be coming soon that we're really excited about, and we get to share that tonight, which is exciting. And then we'll close it up with a Q&A at the end, and that's when we'll ask for your questions also. So the first little bit here is I've been doing some chatting here. I am Rachel Robbins, and then Lynn here is my sister, and we have talked to a lot of you one way or the other, and some of you are brand new, and some are working with other reps or distributors, and we absolutely welcome you as well. Lynn and I both have business backgrounds, and we've made some career changes. Lynn first, and then I second. I jumped into the skincare industry, and she was a fabulous mentor for me. So we've been over 40 years combined industry experience. So we both have a passion for helping other Esties, obviously a passion for the skincare industry and helping our clients. And then that's evolved into, providing, education, training, and support for other estheticians. So about 2 years ago, or 2.5 years ago now, we've been using HOP products for a long time. However, Lynn and I started the Esti Sisters a couple years ago after using a lot of the products from AO Medical and loving them. It took our business to another level, and we were already doing really well. After COVID, a lot of businesses were going down, and ours started flourishing, like just ramping up even further. And we believe we attribute it to the great, unique, results-oriented treatments and products that are available to us from the Korean distributor AO Medical. Lynn was doing some mentoring and started sharing, and then I started sharing as well with other Esties in the area about how fabulous these products were. And one thing led to another, and we ended up having a partnership with AO Medical. And so now Lynn and I both have our own practices still, and then we also rep and educate for AO Medical. So we're been pretty thrilled with that relationship, and it's growing, and we're excited. Those of you that are working with us or brand new to working with the Esti Sisters, we just wanted to reiterate using our code Esti Sisters at checkout for free shipping and our support. Also, I wanted to mention that because on the website, they have a new box that pops up and says who you're working with. And so if you are working with us, you check obviously Esti Sisters. And then in the rep code section to get the free shipping, you have to enter in that code. And then you guys that are working with other reps, you would obviously, I think you may already know, you enter in their code for free shipping there. Everybody's welcome to attend our classes. So we're happy to see everybody here. And we're just specifically mentioning that for our people that work with us. Lynn and I also provide mentorship and coaching programs, things like mentoring in the treatment room. A lot of you may be in, I think, in this call, SD Biz Bootcamp. And then Lynn mentioned earlier, and I don't think everybody heard this, but we are also going to be doing in 2024, which is kind of crazy that it's going to be 2024 soon. We're going to be offering business development courses. So that's going to be brand new. We're very excited about. I know that we want you to stay super focused on this presentation. And if you have a moment and you just think of a topic that you'd like to see some business development on, please put it in the chat. We'd love to hear about that. We also always love to say, easy way to find out about the classes is if you subscribe to our Eventbrite channel. I guess this is a thing that we're learning about. the Esti Sisters. We do have a lot of you, I think, already on there, but when you subscribe, then you get notifications when we have new classes. So that's a great way. And then on Instagram, we're under the THE_Esti, ESTI _ sisters. And we also post on there. And I know some of you hear about it through Lydia and AO Medical too. So those are some options just to make sure you are in the know about that. So the next thing I wanted to cover is, so AO Medical, the owner is Lydia Kang, and she is phenomenal. A lot of you already know her, or interacted with her. I think I've met her probably about 8 years ago, and it's been a great partnership. They are a premier, AO Medical is a premier anti-aging. They provide, sorry, AO Medical is a co-owner of TOV Medical. So TOV Medical has 2 brands underneath them. They have the HOP Plus brand, the House of PLA, and also the Hevatox brand, and also Time Master Pro that's included underneath there as well. The awesome thing about AO Medical is not only do they have those phenomenal brands, they also are a master distributor for a number of other Korean skincare brands like the O2 Derm, Dr. Esti, Duomore, Skin Culture, and they have a new Tramedy and more. So it's like a one-stop shop, which is very unique in the industry. It's kind of like a Cosmoprof, I say, but I say that unlike Cosmoprof, although I'm not dissing them at all, but AO Medical vets their products and their lines that come in. And they're very high end and very, medical grade. And what I mean by that is the number of actives in the products are all at the top and very, very intense and innovative. So that's pretty exciting. We love working with AO Medical because of the fact that we can purchase from a number of different lines, but also there are no minimums, which is amazing. No minimum opening order. The other thing that we truly love about them is, I don't know about you guys, but our brands that we used to carry that we're transitioning away from are on Amazon and they're all over the place. They're even selling directly to our clients. So this is something that AO Medical does not do and is committed to not doing. So that is a pretty awesome thing. They don't allow undercutting or discounting online. So you can be assured that when your client kind of types up, a product, that they're not going to find it cheaper elsewhere. So that also makes me feel and Lynn feel really awesome too. Free shipping over 200, which again, I think is a pretty good deal, given my other lines that I used to work with. They also have a very robust free gift with purchase program. Full-size products starting at $500. So when you spend $500, you get to choose between a number of free gifts, and they go on up there and also up in value too, according to the amount of money that you spend per order. And then also free training like this and more. And so that is, some of the reasons that we absolutely love AO Medical. So we will be again talking about the lines that have the spicules in the products and lines that have the spicules in them a little bit later in the presentation.
Okay, I think I'm taking it over now. So Rachel, you're going to let people in and I'm going to continue on. So there was something that I wanted to say to you guys before we actually start the spicule part of the presentation, is that I just wanted to let you guys know kind of like the excitement that we have and why we're really excited, like in terms of talking about technology like spicules. So for those of you who have been working a long time in the industry, let's just say 15 plus years, you probably remember that we had fewer modalities available to us. Think more microcurrent, LED, microdermabrasion. We were working with more peel technology and we had retinols, we had antioxidants or vitamin C and things like that, right? But I feel that in the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, but especially the last 5 years, there's been so much new development in terms of devices. So think cold plasma, think cold laser, low frequency ultrasound, nano needling, microchanneling. We just have so much more available to us that can help us really deliver results that I feel like we weren't able to deliver years ago. So we do have a lot of people that are here with us and work with us that work in med spas and that have access to, different modalities and things like that, can, a little bit more high performance, a little more I don't want to use the word aggressive, but kind of aggressive, right? Okay. And in the olden days, I would think like, hey, we kind of, felt like we had a place where we as estheticians had a limit to what we could achieve in the treatment room. And I will say that over the last several years, to me, that has really, and for Rachel, that has really changed because of these new innovative technologies like spicules that have come. And Korea's been, by the way, you guys, you probably realize this, that K-beauty in the last 10 years, and that's something else that's really great about the international, marketplace, the global marketplace, is we find that things that we did bring a lot of product in from Europe before and a little bit from Japan, but with Korea, they really lead the way with cutting edge technology. A lot of the devices that you see on the market now are coming from Korea. Think O2 germ, oxygen generators, cold plasma, for example, cold lasers. But then also the spicule technology and other products that really utilize, like our HOP line that uses the polylactic acid, which is the same ingredient that's in dissolvable sutures and in some biostimulating fillers, or topical neurotoxin like our Hevatox line. So the excitement that we have, and I guess why we're so excited to bring this to you guys, is because there really is. This is a great time. We have a lot of people in this group now. I know this for a fact in talking to you, that are just entering the aesthetics field, the career, and like second, third careers. And this is really a time that we can all shine and really feel really proud of what we can do, really feel excited about the fact that we can deliver some really awesome results. So that's kind of where we came from, and not just our partnering with AO Medical, but really wanting to share this with other estheticians like you. So I wanted to do that little blurb in here because spicules is something that it's an example of this new technology and how exciting it is going to be for you guys. So here we go. So thank you for letting me share that with you guys. Okay, here we go. All right, so first up, I wanted to share what are spicules, because a lot of you guys probably do not know what spicules are. So spicules are actually microscopic particles that come from marine sponges. And you can actually find, like I travel a lot abroad, but you can actually find in some stores, cosmetic stores and things like that, sponges that you use. So now a lot of things obviously are synthetic, but you can find little tiny different shaped sponges to use, for bathing or for washing your face. Well, the same sponges that are collected are the source of the little filaments, the little particles that are what spicules are. So the Koreans use the sponges that come from European freshwater lakes. The sponges actually grow, reproduce, and survive much like plants do. Okay. They have no central nervous system, no digestive system, no circulatory system or organs. They're harvested in a really sustainable way. And then they're also made, just the spicules themselves are made in terms of being the vertebrae or the backbone of the sponge from calcium or silica. And they're naturally pointy and crystalline in shape. So there's actually two different shapes of the spicules, and we'll be showing those in a little bit. And that is how they work and become effective in terms of the uses in the skincare industry, which we're going to cover next. So spicules in skincare, they are what's considered needle-free alternative to microneedling, which is really exciting. They actually penetrate into the epidermal layers initially, but then they work their way further down into the dermis. They deliver potent anti-aging and healing ingredients into the skin. So they have several different uses. In addition to creating these little microchannels like microneedling does, they help to penetrate product further into the skin. Absorption rates from spicule technology actually increases the absorption rate from 4 to 6% to as high as 73%, if not a little higher. Also, they help to stimulate new cellular turnover. So they have kind of an exfoliating properties to them, but also stimulate new collagen, new fibroblast activity, which is wonderful. Helps to stimulate tissue repair, helps to stimulate elastin, leaving skin plump, even toned, smoother, and glowing. And they also have anti-inflammatory and antiseptic properties. That's why you're going to find they're going to be very suitable for all skin types, including people with rosacea, sensitive skin, and acneic skin. So cool thing about spicules as well is that they're, again, available, natural, and suitable for all skin types. So that's pretty unique. Also for all Fitzpatrick levels. No side effects. There is a slight, for those of you who've never experienced a spicule treatment, there is a slight tingling sensation when it goes in. And it's tolerated though, because it's going to differ depending on the concentration of the spicules in the product and also the pressure of the technician applying the spicules. Okay. Very little downtime, if any. And the downtime that you probably would notice might be a little bit of sloughing, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit too, because just like with peels, it's not a guarantee that that's actually going to happen. The more the skin is, the healthier the skin, the more exfoliated the skin, the less of that is going to be visible. It's actually pregnancy safe as well. And again, the intensity is going to be depending upon the concentration of the spicules in the product and then also the pressure of application. And you can also, the treatments that we're going to talk about today can be used on other areas of the body. So if you're working with a client that has, back acne, scarring on the back, or they're dealing with hyperpigmentation on the arms or the thighs, or, just kind of any area of the body, chest, hands, you can definitely work with the spicules on various body parts as well. Okay, and I'm just going to slide this down because I'm missing part of it. Okay, how spicules work. Okay, so again, what these little micro spicules are is they're going to be embedded. When you apply them, they're going to be combined with they either start off in a powder form or in a liquid form. And if it starts off in a powder form, it's going to be combined with some sort of a liquid to create some kind of a little paste to be able to be applied to the skin for you to work into the skin, or it's going to be applied in a solution that's already, where the spiculars are in that. So as you're doing your massaging over the skin, they get embedded or implanted in the skin. They are going to stay in the skin up to 72 hours. They can start to release between 12 and 24 hours, but even a few days later, I can start, especially if I do an eye treatment, I can still sometimes when I'm washing my face and applying my sunscreen, I can still a few days later still feel a little bit of the sensation that some of the spiculars are still in there. So it is a process between 12 and 72 hours in terms of when they start to release. For 2 to 3 days post-treatment, the skin can look a little bit dull. And this is typical with a lot of spicule treatments that are on the market as well. And there's the exception to that is our Tiffany Peel that we're going to talk about tonight. And I'll let you guys know in a little bit why that is different. So that particular treatment, they look great pretty much the next day, and we'll explain why. So when we're looking at the spicules, I'm just showing you a few pictures. We're going to show a little bit deeper, but I like the graphic here that just shows how they're being pushed in. Okay. They work down, they kind of do their little magic, stimulating the fibroblast activity, okay, creating the microchannels, bringing product in. Then the second little circle there, you can see how they start to work their way up, okay, up and out. And eventually over the course of the 7 days, 5 to 7 days, everything's out and the skin is kind of finishing that process of tissue rejuvenation. Spicule do's and don'ts. We wanted to kind of let you guys just know this. Again, all this information is going to be in the slide deck. You guys can watch the recording as well. You can take a screenshot if you want. You're not familiar with this. We do know that people we asked you guys ahead of time if you were using other spicule treatments in general, whether they're from AO Medical or other places. Sometimes we hear from people that when they are purchasing other products from abroad, Korea, for example, or devices, oftentimes the information is limited in English. So we wanted to make sure that you guys do know this. It's very important. So spicule do's and don'ts, and especially if you want to convey this information to your clients. So again, make sure your client's drinking plenty of water. You want to make sure that they're focusing on moisturization to reduce any feelings of tightness. They're going to be applying SPF daily, reapplying every 2 to 3 hours if they're going to be outside for any significant period of time. I am super big fan of all mineral SPF, so it requires actually less of that repeat application, but I still say to clients, if they're someone that's going to be, going, and usually this is a treatment that doesn't have a lot of downtime and it's not something like if someone was going to be leaving for Mexico a week or two later, it would say, hey, you can't do this before then, you can, but you just want to make sure they're providing extra sun protection for themselves. Gentle cleansing of the face in the morning and evening, especially for the first 3 days. So while those spicules are implanted and until they're fully released, we let the clients know, hey, you're going to just be gently cleansing the skin. And you don't want to push hard because you don't want to risk kind of removing the spicules early or shifting them or causing any additional sensitivity to the skin. So you also want to make sure, just like with peels, especially self-neutralizing peels, when the skin kind of starts to flake or starts to slough at times, you want to make sure that the client is not picking or peeling any sloughing skin. This is really important. And, you know, I wasn't necessarily going to mention this here, but Rachel and I talk about this a lot, where we see like different treatments that'll be on Instagram, things like that, where people are in Facebook groups where they're, you know, saying, oh, with this peel, we're really pulling off all the skin. We're pulling it off. We know that it's not a good idea to prematurely pull skin off, because that can cause actually infection at some point, but definitely scarring, scabbing, and definitely irritation, and even hyperpigmentation, things like that. So just advise the client to not peel or pick off any of that sloughing skin. The day of the treatment, they're going to avoid cleansing the skin. So with most of our advanced treatments, we do recommend the client, because it has all the goodness in there. We put all these, you know, wonderful soothing ingredients on the skin. We recommend the client not wash until the next day, minimum of 12 hours, but I like to say the next day. For 3 days post-treatment, they're going to gently cleanse, apply moisturizer just to make sure that the skin doesn't feel super tight, and they put a mineral SPF on during the day. Again, not rubbing too much, just a light application of the product. For 1 week post-treatment, we're going to tell the clients that we recommend they do not use a sauna or hot tub. They don't do strenuous exercise. They don't drink alcohol, and they avoid using actives like vitamin C, other vitamins, retinols, and exfoliants. Okay. So this is kind of like, just like you would do with a peel, you know, they're going to kind of ease into their post-care and then get back into their regular regimen. Sloughing and redness and swelling may occur. This is also going to be dependent upon the person's skin type. So if somebody has more sensitive skin and you're applying a little bit more pressure, heavier pressure when you're applying, or you're using the products that we're going to be talking about and the different treatments, there actually are a couple of them have a little bit more in terms of the number or concentration of spicules. So it does feel more intense than others. So we'll let you know that. But just to, you know, keep that in mind for a client, that if they look a little pinky right after a little bit of swelling, that's normal. Okay. And then for acneic skin, it could increase some sebum production and secretion. So letting them know that they could have a little bit of extra breakouts. And sometimes it's just that little histamine bumps or things that are kind of being raised to the surface. Okay, it's just being stimulated, but it will clear up in the next few days. So not that they're going to all of a sudden have this massive breakout post-treatment, because we're going to be walking through one of the treatments today is actually specifically for acne and scarring, and we can get some really good results with spicule technology. Okay, the main spicule treatments that we're going to be talking about today, first is our Tiffany Peel. We're really excited to share that with you, because it's different from pretty much almost all of the spicule programs that I've seen on the market. Today, we're going to talk about our Peel and Glow program, where we have 2 different treatments associated, associated with that. And then we also have a special spicule eye treatment that we're going to talk to you about. And once we finish the slide presentation, when we're doing Q&A, I'm going to do a little demo on myself and show you what that's like, how easy it is, and how you can market that to your clients as well. So our first program or protocol that we're going to follow today and talk about today is called our Tiffany Peel. And what makes the Tiffany Peel actually different from most of these treatments, these spicule treatments on the market, is that this legitimately is a peel. So one of the things that struck Rachel and I actually when we first learned about the Peel and Glow program, which is another protocol we're talking about, or a lot of the spicule treatments on the market, you hear a lot about Princess Peel and Green Peel and all these peels, right? But when you actually look at the ingredients, you find that there really is there's no hydroxy acids in there. So there really isn't any peel as a part of that program. Okay. The Tiffany Peel is different. We actually do have hydroxy acids that are part of this program. So that is different. So the part where it comes, I think, where the translation from Korea to English, why they're calling it a peel, is because of the exfoliating process, right? So the skin is turning over. We have cellular turnover. We may have some sloughing, but that's exfoliating, right? That's not necessarily peeling in terms of using hydroxy acids, which is what we consider. So in the US, if you say to a client, oh, I'm going to be, using I'm going to do a peel on you, it is different from a spicule treatment unless it's the Tiffany Peel, because this one does combine hydroxy acid. So we just wanted to let you guys know that when you look at your ingredients, you will actually see that those are, they're calling it a peel simply because of the exfoliating properties and the cellular turnover. So the Tiffany Peel is a 5-step peel and spicule treatment. And we're going to walk through each step, and then we're going to show you our protocol. It's safe for sensitive skin, even active rosacea skin, which is really great. People that are diabetic, safe for all Fitzpatrick levels, no downtime, no discomfort, pregnancy safe. And by the way, most spicule treatments are pregnancy safe, which is really great to know. Evens out skin tone and texture. And this would be a great program for anybody that has a desire for intense hydration and glossy skin. I talk to lots and lots of people on a regular basis. Many of you, in fact, I've probably talked to at one point or another. And a lot of you, one of the biggest issues that you guys deal with is dehydration. And so separate from one of our favorite treatments called the glass facial using the oxygen dome, the Tiffany Peel gives this amazing glossy dewy effect the next day. And that's why when I walk through this, I'm going to let you guys know why this is different in terms of the traditional spicule treatments where the client may look dull skin for a couple of days. It's different with the Tiffany Peel because we actually have in the first 3 steps, we actually are exfoliating the skin with hydroxy acids. So we have less of a sloughing, and the spicules can go in and do their magic with the products, the ingredients that we're driving in that leave the skin dewy and subtle, that leave the skin feeling really supple the next day. So that's something that's really unique. You get over 20 treatments per ampule as well. So it's very cost effective. And the other great thing about this program is that each of the ampules can be used as a standalone. The only one I probably wouldn't use is the neutralizer by itself, although you'll see how great and amazing that is in terms of the ingredients. But that's something very unique here is that you can use the system in its entirety, but then you can also use step 1 by itself, step 2 by itself. You could use the step 4 by itself or step 5 by itself. So that is really neat. And we're going to talk about the different times that you may want to consider doing that. Okay, so step 1 of the Tiffany Peel. Step 1, I'm going to grab these. Here's my little box. And they come in these really cute little boxes. And the vials are 20 ml. So we've got a pretty good size ampule. And actually 30 ml, sorry about that, because there's 1.5 mLs that you're going to use per application. So step 1 is what we call our activator step. Okay, it's the initial step, the precursor step, and it actually has 10% alpha hydroxy lactic acid and 10% included as part of that package, lactobionic acid. So lactobionic acid is a polyhydroxy acid that is really, it's a large molecule, even larger than lactic acid molecule, really great for creating hydration in the skin, really great for hyperpigmentation. And so suitable for pretty much all skin types. That's why this particular peel that works with the lactic acid and lactobionic acid is pretty much universal and also pregnancy safe as well. So hypoallergenic, lactobionic, we've got epidural growth factors in this peel. We also have the Centella asiatica extract. Centella asiatica extract is actually gotucula. This is known as a wound healing herb in Europe. So it's considered a medicinal herb in Europe. We also have this ingredient called PFD, perfluorodecalan, and this really helps the, I wrote this down just because I didn't want to mess it up, but it basically speeds up recovery, skin recovery with the oxygenation process. So this is a really awesome ingredient, and it's really unique. I've actually never seen this added to any other peel before. And then we have our camellia oil, which is for calming. And then we have another one called Inua flower, and they call it Inua floss, but it's an Inua flower. And this one in particular is really great for skin whitening. And then we also have the rhodiola rosea root, which also is very high in antioxidants and helps fight fine lines and wrinkles. Yes. And oh, my other piece that I forgot that I wanted to mention about the PFD is that it helps for treatment and recovery of burns. So think of how amazing this is in terms of, even though this is a low level acid, that it's buffered with ingredients that actually calm, soothe, heal, and protect the skin. So we call this a golden ratio, but this just goes to show you, this is one of the things that we really love about Korean skincare is that they're super, super focused on anti-inflammatory, wound healing, lots of antioxidants. The approach in Korean skincare is really less aggressive. It's really focused on helping the skin heal itself. So it gently encourages the skin to repair itself. So it'll do a little bit of, increasing the cellular turnover, but overall it's going to, they just take a very different approach than what we're used to, at least in the United States here. So that is step one. And if a client had, I'm going to go to step two, but if a client had really, really sensitive skin and you wanted just to use step one because of the 10% hydroxy acids, you could skip step two. Step two is now layering. And by the way, step one is going to stay on for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. And you keep it on. And at that time, once you've hit the 3 or 5 minute mark, you're now going to add step two. Step two is 20% combination of lactic acid and lactobionic acid. And as you're going to see here, it has the same key calming ingredients that we have in step one. So it still has the lactobionic, it has the Rhodolia rosea root, it has the PFD, it has our inula floss. So all the same key wonderful ingredients that we had in step one, we have in step two. This is now going to stay on for an additional 3 to 5 minutes. At that point, once you're there, so we're now at a total of either 6 or 10 minutes, we are now going to neutralize our peel. And I know this is really tiny, and I didn't want you guys to have to memorize it all, or, the fact that I want you guys to read it all, but I wanted to show you that this is something that's really, really unique. So most peels can be neutralized simply with water or sodium bicarbonate. Really simple, right? Well, the Tiffany Peel is actually, if you look at the ingredients in here, the Tiffany Peel neutralizer, it is packed with a variety of hyaluronic acids, okay? A whole bunch of different plant extracts that are really good for calming, soothing, and healing the skin. And that is something that I've never, ever, ever seen before. It's like they could just go ahead and just have water in here, right? Or just use some basic sodium bicarbonate, which a lot of peel companies do use. So this one, it's like each step is very intentional. And that is something that I really, really appreciate about the Korean skincare, and especially the Tiffany Peel. So it's very intentional. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to now neutralize steps 1 and 2. So when we mentioned earlier about how dull skin can appear for the first couple of days after you've used a spicule treatment with a client, the reason that the Tiffany Peel is not going to have that same result is because we are going to be doing the exfoliating. The heavy guns of the exfoliation is going to be done in the treatment room. So a lot of the dead skin is going to be removed. So when we start to apply step 4 and step 5, the skin is very receptive, and a lot of that dead skin buildup is gone. So you're going to see less of that sloughing. And that is why the next day, the client is going to feel hydrated. The skin's going to feel plump and smooth. So it's a really unique type of peel. So this is one of my favorite peels, especially if you have clients, before a wedding, any special occasion, and they just can't afford to have any downtime or any risk of really sloughing. This is going to be their peel of choice. Step 4, this is our Radiance Ampule, and I'm really excited to share this one with you in particular. So the Radiance Ampule, beautiful little red box. And by the way, I'm just going to give you guys a little tip so I don't forget. The 3 first steps all come with a little, like a turquoise label. When you're in the treatment room, my suggestion for you guys is dark usually, right? We keep it kind of dim so it's nice and relaxing for the client. I'm going to suggest that you guys write with a Sharpie marker, like a black Sharpie marker, 1, 2, and 3, so that when you're grabbing, because I made this mistake once, only once. So you want to make sure that when you're grabbing the ampules, you know what you're grabbing. Step 1, you're grabbing step 2, you're grabbing step 3. The other 2 steps, step 4 is red, and step 5 is actually a green bottle. So there's no risk of mixing that up. Okay. So what is the Radiance Ampule? So now we've removed, our alpha hydroxy acids there, and we've neutralized. You may be thinking, well, we're going to be adding some hydroxy acid again. We're going to be adding 10% lactobionic. We are, but it's going to be in this decadent, soothing, calming serum with a large variety of hyaluronic acids. It's going to have ceramides. We're going to have niacinamide. We're going to have our adenosine. There's 10 different patented botanicals in here. And so this is like a super deluxe It's a very rich, beautiful serum that we're going to be adding to the skin to replace nutrients in the skin. One little tip for you guys, if you are looking for something to use for clients that have rosacea, and we're talking about separate from a spicule treatment, lactobionic acid is an ingredient that is oftentimes, if you might have may be familiar with azelaic acid being used for clients with rosacea. Doctors prescribe that. There is a lot of research now that shows that lactobionic acid is equivalent to the effects that it's going to have in breaking down some of those skin mites and helping people with acne rosacea, or we call it papulopustular rosacea. So if a client did have rosacea and you're not going to be doing your traditional exfoliation step, you would do probably cleanse, you do some LED work, right? You could do a little massage if you want to do that. Well, then what you could go ahead and do is then before, at the end of the treatment, you could apply some of the Radiance Ampule with the 10% lactobionic acid, and then you could finish with your whatever moisturizer and then SPF. Okay. So I want you to know, again, this was an example of how you can utilize simply one of the ampules. You don't even have to have it be a part of the Spicule program, right? You could just use this for your rosacea clients, especially your acne rosacea clients. So again, this is a decadent serum that's going to be left on. Okay. So steps 4 and 5 are going to be left on. Step 5, this is our implant cream. So the implant cream is what contains our spicules. So like I mentioned, we're going to show you a program, and a lot of you are familiar with some protocols that contain spicules in the powder form and that need to be mixed with something. And then others of you are going to be familiar with creams or gels that already have the spicules in there. So the spicule is in the implant cream we have here. So how this is actually applied or taken, you're sent along when you get the kit. You're going to be getting these little syringes, and there's a little hole at the top. And so what you're going to end up doing is you pull the little cap off and you push it in, tip it upside down, and you're going to be pulling out the full 1 ml, okay, 1 to 1.5 ml that you're going to use per treatment, okay? And so then when you apply this particular product, the other one is going to go on, and it's just really soothing, and it feels really calm. You just apply it, with your fingertips. The first 3, by the way, are going to be applied on a 4x4, just like you would a normal peel, and then the spicule implant cream is going to be where you're going to actually pat it on the skin, because anytime you're working with these spicules, remember, they're going to feel a little bit active for the client, because they are feeling a little bit like little pieces of glass when they're going into the skin. So you can gently rub, but just remember that you're going to check in with your client to make sure you're not pushing so hard, right? So I actually, the graphic here shows you just some key ingredients like the adenosine, hyaluronic acid, ceramides, niacinamide. But I actually created a little cheat sheet. And it was for you guys when people wanted to know just what else is in here, because there's so many good ingredients. Like Rachel said, one of the things that we're really, really impressed with, especially with the Korean skincare lines that AO Medical brings in, is that instead of just having a couple active ingredients, so to speak, like whether it's, the hydroxy acids or it's, some peptides or things like that, they tend to put 20, 30 key ingredients in these products, right? So it's just like so amazing and over the top. And I've never worked with lines that do that, and not just put them in, but actually, like Rachel mentioned, high up in the ingredient deck. So if you're reading ingredient labels, when things are, closer to the top, that means there's a higher concentration. Now, sometimes things only needed to be used in a tiny amount, right? It might need to be near the bottom, but usually if you can get a lot of those key ingredients near the top, that means that a lot of the beneficial ingredients are more concentrated in there. So in addition to, like I said, the hyaluronic acid, we've got ceramides, which basically creates the barrier, preventing moisture loss. Epidural growth factors, again, stimulating collagen production, and elastin, also strengthens the skin's barrier. We've got the peripheral decalin, which I mentioned, the PDF, that is used in recovery, again, for treatment of burns and wounds, strengthens the dermal matrix as well. And that's why, hence, this is a really effective treatment for people even that have rosacea and impaired barriers. So that's why it's safe for them too. We do have our Centella asiatica extract, which is our Gotu-Kola, and that is great for thousands of years. It's been used to heal wounds and to treat conditions like psoriasis and even leprosy. So that has been around for a long, long time. So very powerful ingredient. And you'll notice that Centella asiatica extract is used in, I don't even know, I don't want to say every product, but so many products of the Korean skincare lines. It's also got 10 different botanicals, okay, that's going to help support health, texture, integrity of the skin. We also have our camellia oil in here that also helps to protect against free radicals and UV radiation. We've got flavonoids, which also protects the skin from UV radiation and is a strong antioxidant. We've got our adaptogens in here, again, which thwart signs of aging, soothe the skin, and make the skin glow. And then our adenosine decreases the appearance of wrinkles by energizing the skin. And last but not least, a niacinamide, which helps to build keratin, which is a type of protein that supports healthy skin. Ceramides, increasing hydration. All of these have anti-inflammatory properties, and this also makes it great for acne, mature skin, and eczema skin. So again, the reason why I'm kind of going through in a little bit more detail the ingredients in here is because a lot of the products that I've seen on the market, they'll be like key ingredient spicules, and they may have 1 or 2 extra ingredients in there that are nice. But if you really look at each step in the Tiffany Peel program, you notice that they're just like so jam-packed. That is why I think we get the results that we do and why the clients really love this treatment. And for those of you who are listening now, I know there's a whole bunch on here and a lot of you who have experienced the Tiffany Peel or used it. If you want to just, thumbs up or whatever you want to do in the chat, that would be awesome as well. But I just know this is a really great program for you guys. We're really excited for you guys to experience it at some point. So we do have protocols. And by the way, we do all the protocols that we're talking about today. Rachel and I have demos that are on YouTube. And if they're not on YouTube, they will be. A couple are just brand new that I created in the last couple of days to update. And we also have our written protocols for you. So when you follow a written protocol, you'll find that separate from the basic steps that you'll see for like the Tiffany Peel, okay, or the other protocols that we're going to show you, you can go to the website and you'll be like, oh, they just have like 5 steps here. Really simple. Well, what we like to do, and many of you are familiar with our classes and working with us, we really love to maximize the results that a client's going to get. So we love to add extra modalities and sometimes products to our treatment. So in this case, what we're recommending is adding some additional modalities to the program. So we're suggesting using cold plasma. So for those of you not familiar with it, we do on YouTube have a wonderful in-depth class on what cold plasma is. And we also have a demo of us demonstrating the Dr. Playton device. So cold plasma, you guys, is a really unique, newer to the market for us estheticians as well. No downtime. You might be familiar with hot plasma or fibroblast plasma, but cold plasma actually allows and stimulates, creates little microchannels in the skin, increases product penetration by up to 24% over the next 12 hours. It also is really great for breaking an oxygenating melanin in the skin for hyperpigmentation. And it's really antibacterial, so great for acne. But one of the main uses that we like to use it for with this treatment is separate from opening the microchannels there, it's going to increase the product penetration. So that's why we're really excited to use it with the Tiffany Peel. We also are suggesting for those of you who want to use some Time Master Pro with low level ultrasound, if you want to do the Ratio, which is cold laser, that's great for slimming. If you want to use some microcurrent for lifting and tightening, or radio frequency, for example, you definitely can use that before you do this Tiffany Peel treatment. The Tiffany Peel protocol in and of itself, if you just did steps 1 through 5, is probably like 20 minutes. It's really short. Okay. So we do add some of these modalities in there to get the client the best results. So that's just our preference. Recommended treatment time, or terms of in between, we do like series of this. I would say that it's even safe enough to do on somebody once a week. But usually we're suggesting people to do these every 2 weeks. That's just protocols that Rachel and I normally come up with, because we feel that it's, even if clients had the money, it's much easier for them to come in on a biweekly basis versus weekly. But this treatment, if somebody didn't have super sensitive skin, would be safe enough to do weekly if they wanted to. Okay, we have a few before and afters that we're going to show you, and several of you guys are, these are pics of some wonderful Esties that are in our group. So when I did a training a year ago in New Jersey, we had some wonderful attendees. We had Ma on the left and we had Beverly here. And so we did do a little bit of modality work on the front end, but this is before and after of the Tiffany Peel. So you will notice that right away, they look hydrated, they look fuller, they look plump. The skin feels very soft and supple. It doesn't feel, they don't look like a traditional peel where you say, hang in there for a week or two. It's going to take a while for them to look better. They look great pretty much immediately, which is nice. And next day they feel great. Now we have our wonderful L'Oreal, and we did a before and after for her, and it might be a little bit hard to see here, but the left picture, if you can see and try to look closely, she has a lot of white flaking around her mouth. So her skin was very dehydrated, very dull, lackluster. And immediately after this peel, she was very thrilled. I don't know if L'Oreal's on and you want to say, I think she signed up, but if she wants to say hi here, but her skin looked amazing after. And even each day we checked in with her a few days later, plump, hydrated, refreshed. So that's the kind of result that you can expect from the Tiffany Peel. And this is a client of Rachel's. And I don't know, was this her first peel, Rachel, ever?
No, we had actually been doing PCA peels for a while, and she loved this one because she didn't get that intense peeling. And she felt hydrated, glowing the next, even like that same day or the next day. So she loved this one better than the PCA peel. So we started doing this one exclusively on her.
And so it's really cool to know that even though you're doing a 30%, right, and you're doing your spicules, it's because of the combination of everything we're doing. It's so intentional and it produces these really amazing results. And the clients really want that. And again, the longer I'm in skincare, and I think Rachel would probably agree, is that I feel like I'm doing less, more aggressive treatments, less aggressive peels and things like that. And working with these amazing ingredients and technology to deliver these really unique and amazing results that the clients are really loving.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was just going to say just about that client again, the PCA is delayed, right? It's self-neutralizing. So with the Tiffany peel, you're removing that, you're doing the peel, and a lot of dead skin comes off in that treatment. So that's why it's a unique, different than the PCA, and why my client really liked that.
Okay. So here is our treatment program number 2. Now, when this is an example of when it first came out and we're like, peel and glow. And so right away I go and I look up the ingredients and I'm like, there's nothing in here that's a peel. Like, why are they saying peel and glow? And so the idea was that the translation, like, again, coming from Korean to English, meant reveal. It's exfoliating, it's cellular turnover. Okay. So it is exfoliating and revealing new skin. So they're using this term peel. So when you're using, a lot of you guys are working with, or some of you are working with some other spicule protocols from other Korean companies. And so I'm thinking that's why they're using the word peel. Okay. Because it's this reveal. I think it's in the translation. And so the companies are using that term, but technically the Tiffany peel is a legit peel. It is using alpha hydroxy acids and then combining it with a spicule protocol there. So these two programs, the Peel and Glow program, there's 2 different protocols that we're going to talk about. And so again, no alpha hydroxys are involved in this, but we're going to talk about what makes these different and how we use these. And we're really excited because they're completely different protocols and for completely different results. So the Dr. Esti, one of our lines that AO Medical sells and distributes, they contain pure microspicules. So again, this is something that we learned that is very unique too, is that they're actually buffered. I'm going to show you a slide in a little bit, how a lot of spicules that are on the market are not actually clean, refined, and buffered, and it does make a difference. So the Koreans are using freshwater sponges that come from Europe. The spicules, again, penetrate deep into the dermal layer of the skin, promoting cellular metabolism, okay, which help with a variety of skin conditions, and even things like scarring, hyperpigmentation, things like that. The Peel and Glow program contains premium ingredients as well. And this program, there has a lot of testing and clinical testing and research that was done. So if you actually go to the website, you're going to see a lot more of the research. It just wouldn't show up really well here in terms of the graphics and stuff. It's small, but you can go and look at some of the clinical research that's been done on this particular program. So it's developed by experts, dermatologists with more than 10 years of experience. And the formula, again, went under a lot of numerous clinical testing for us. Less irritation and softer with finer particles. The client can return to work. It's no downtime really. There potentially could have a little bit of sloughing a few days later with this program as opposed to the Tiffany Peel, but it's still very, very mild. We have two formulas. We have an illuminating formula, Pearl Drops, and I'll show you those in a sec, that helps with hyperpigmentation and melasma. And then we have a separate solution that is called the AC Clearing Drops. That is what we're going to be using for our acne clients and working with acne and scarring. Okay, the peel and glow difference. This was what I was telling you about. So not all spicules are the same. So we kind of zoomed in here to show you that on the left, typical spicules are unrefined. So if they're just harvested and they're kind of ground up and put into a powder, for example, or added to a product, you can see that they're, one end might be sharp, one end kind of dull. Okay, so not even, but you can see that Dr. Esti actually refines the spicules so that they're pointed on both ends. So you're going to get a better result, meaning that when it's pushed in, we have no idea how those millions of spicules are being, pushed in and implanted, right, or embedded. So to have them be even is going to be a much more beneficial effect. There we go. Okay, so there are 4 products in the system. So first off, we've got our pearl powder, and everything used to come in this big kit where you got the whole system together, but it was a little bit pricier to buy as a whole set. Plus we knew that not everyone is working with acne and not everyone is working with hyperpigmentation and melasma. So we actually had the protocols or the products split up so you can purchase them individually, which is great. So that allows you guys to focus on the particular clientele that you're dealing with and buy in smaller quantities as well, especially as you're getting started. So the pearl powder, this is actually the packet that contains the spicules. So with the Tiffany Peel, you already saw that the spicules were in the implant cream, but in this case, with the Peel and Glow program, the spicules are in the pearl powder. And there's also, we're going to talk about specifically what's in here, but in addition to the pearl powder and what makes that great, we have volcanic ash, and I'm going to talk about one of my favorite ingredients. We're going to talk about this in a sec. Then we have the AC Clearing Drops. Okay. And this has, in addition to the pearl extract in here, it also has a herbal formula. It's supposed to be really great for antibacterial properties and lavender flower water. And then our illuminating pearl drops actually has pearl extract, tangerine extract, and arbutin in here for our lightening and whitening for the skin. And then last but not least, we have a cooling mask. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this because this mask is 10% Alaskan glacier water. It has 20,000 parts per million of a particular herb that's all about wound healing, calming and soothing the skin. And it also contains pearl extract. This particular mask, you guys, you can use this for it's really great for like wound healing and calming heat in the skin. So if you did a really intensive, let's just say radiofrequency microneedling or dermaplaning, or anything that even if you did a combination, let's just say we're doing microdermabrasion. I know some of you guys play around and do that combining with peels and different things, but if the skin ever becomes too sensitized, too hot, you can also just use this cooling mask. So again, this is an example of how you don't necessarily have to use the whole system together. I teach my Estes in the mentoring program that if you know what ingredients are, you can actually use different products for different treatments. Okay, so this would be a separate product that you can buy as a 5-pack to use for when you need cooling and soothing post a little bit more aggressive treatments. Okay, so we are going to now talk about each one a little bit here. Okay, so first off, with our Peel and Glow powder, we want to talk about the pearl powder and then the volcanic ash. So the pearl powder is really great for lightening and brightening. It has a lot of healing properties to it as well. And volcanic ash is really amazing for lightening. I took a peel course. This was probably in Arizona, maybe 19 years ago. And I learned the most amazing, and I don't know if Sheila's on from Skin Institute down in Florida, shout out to her. because I actually connected with Sheila many, many years ago, and that's who I was getting my volcanic ash from at the time, and was doing a special lightening treatment under the eyes using lightening and brightening melanin suppressant ingredients, using lactic acid and the volcanic ash. And I could get like a 35% lightening and brightening just with that ash. So when this came out, and it's really hard to get volcanic ash today, especially safe for the skin. Okay. So having this be in here, the volcanic ash, I was so excited. So in and of itself, separate from the spicules and what that's doing, and the arbutin, for example, in the drops, volcanic ash is going to have this really great brightening effect to the skin. So if you look again, what's in here, we've got a bunch of different natural ingredients with our micro spicules in here. We've got, let me see what else is here. Sorry. I'm going to just take it to the next step here. So next step, this is going to go ahead and show you when we're working with our combination of whether you're going to be doing the advanced brightening treatment. We're going to split this off into the two treatments. We're going to talk our advanced brightening treatment. We're going to talk our acne treatment. But I wanted to give you guys a little heads up of just what the program in general would look like to a client. So because of the pearl powder, and the pearl powder, along with the spicules and volcanic ash, will in and of itself do a little bit of encouragement of some exfoliation, some sloughing. This may or may not, again, show up on a client who has really good, really healthy skin, regularly exfoliating, regularly coming in for treatments. They might not see that typical sloughing on day 3. But usually what you're going to see is day 1, day 2, it's going to be a little bit of a tightening. The skin's going to appear a little bit duller. Okay. Day 3 is probably just like with a lot of our self-neutralizing peels. Day 3 seems to be like the golden day for when you start to see some of the skin sloughing. And by day 6, though, so there is a process between day 3 and 5 where there can actually be sloughing. Okay. Day 6 and 7, it's going to start to just brighten, and that's where we're going to see a lot of the improvement. Now, remember, Tiffany Peel, if you want to have no sloughing, you want to have no downtime, the skin's going to look great, no dullness right after, that's the treatment that you're going to go for. If you want to work with the peel and glow and really focus on the hyperpigmentation, the melasma or acne and scarring, you want to let your clients know that during that week, there may be some sloughing, and the skin may take a week to look at its best again. Okay. So you just want to make sure that if they have an event or something, you're giving them that heads up. Okay. So this is our advanced skin brightening facial. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough for you guys. But again, this one is available with a complete demonstration. We have it on YouTube. And so you guys will be able to watch that. This is the protocol that we follow. In and of itself, the Peel and Glow program is great. If you're just going to follow the Peel and Glow program, the 5-step protocol, just to use the Peel and Glow with the drops and the cooling mask, it's great. But Rachel and I wanted to create a really seriously results-driven protocol for melasma and hyperpigmentation. And so what we did was we are combining some modalities, but also some other heavy hitters in the AO Medical family. Okay. So I kind of want to walk through this because what's really cool is each of these products in and of themselves, just like the devices, are great. Standalone products, great. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because some of you have reached out to us and said, hey, I'm missing something. Like I don't have a particular step here. Totally fine. Skip that step and keep going, because the protocol here, just even one of the products here, is going to be really great. Okay. So I'm going to walk through this really quickly. So after you've cleansed, one of the products or the devices that we really recommend for lightening and brightening skin is going to be cold plasma. Cold plasma has a way of oxygenating melanin in the skin, and it breaks it up. In particular, the Dr. Platon. The tonisher is about 20%, 20 to 25% total output in terms of what you're going to get from the Dr. Platon. But the Dr. Platon cold plasma device, which AO Medical has, and we have, like I said, we have a video, we have a demo, we have a class on that on YouTube, that gives the best results for really blasting and breaking up melasma. Now, usually you're going to have a client that's going to need to do a series. But even after one treatment, Rachel and I were just down at the trade show in Palm Beach. Shout out to anybody who was down there. And we had a couple Estes that were there. Actually, we were working on their melasma. and they saw a significant change just after that 1 20-minute session. So we love to combine modalities that make sense for a particular protocol. So if that's going to really help to blast and work on breaking up hyperpigmentation, we're going to put that with this treatment. Next, we're going to do a goat milk peel, and you can use another light peel as well. The Dr. Esti goat milk peel happens to be one of our favorites because it's 1 to 2 minutes, great for all skin types, has a lot of brightening ingredients in there, like our polyhydroxy acid. So we really love it. Then we remove that, and then we start with the Peel and Glow program. So we're going to do the full Peel and Glow program after we remove that, because the ash, unlike the Tiffany Peel, where the cream and the spicules stay on and they're just washed the next day, the Peel and Glow program, because you're applying this mixture of volcanic ash with the pearl powder, it dries on the skin, and that does need to be removed. And in our demo, we show you guys how to remove it. Okay. So then after that, though, the following steps, the product's going to stay on the skin. So our next product that we use is something called the Dr. Ion Vitamin C ampule, and it's a powder. It actually has 4 different types of vitamin C in there, and it's new. It came out this year. We absolutely love it. You add a little bit of water, you put that on, and then you have to use either ultrasound or iontophoresis or galvanic to penetrate the vitamin C. Key tip, if you are going to be doing the spicule treatment, the Peel and Glow treatment in this protocol, do not use the ultrasound. And the reason being is ultrasound, or the Time Master Pro with electromuscle stimulation, is going to be too irritating to be rubbing and doing on top of the spicules. So we recommend using your galvanic, your tonic galvanic, to penetrate, or any of your iontophoresis to penetrate the vitamin C ampule. Okay, it's very soothing, calming. It's not going to irritate the client's skin. Okay, and another thing I want to mention is, we do go through this again in the demo, but when you're applying the spicule, the powder, and it's mixed in with the solution, and you're applying it, you're massaging it into the skin, you're going to use either light, medium, or heavy pressure, depending on the client's sensitivity. So you're always going to be checking in with your client. So some of your clients, just when you're even applying it with the brush, are going to be like, whoa, they're going to be feeling it. So that's kind of an indication that you're going to just like gently massage it into the skin. Okay. But if a client doesn't really feel it super much, you definitely could push a little bit harder. It's just going to penetrate those a little bit deeper into the skin. So I wanted to give that little tip here. Okay, so after you've applied the Dr. Ion Vitamin C solution and you've done your galvanic work on that, you're next going to be using a wonderful melatonin sheet mask on the skin created by Aquasure. And what's really cool about that is it's got the tranexamic acid, it's got the niacinamide. It is lightening and brightening in and of itself, but we're going to put that on the skin now. And then we're going to use a little bit more galvanic. If you have microcurrent, you could lose a little bit of that, but very light. I like galvanic. And then we're going to leave that on. And again, we're just layering all these amazing ingredients to help brighten the skin. Okay. Then you take that mask off, and you're going to keep all the solution on. You're not going to remove that. Then we're going to go ahead and use one of our favorite products called a whitening serum from Dr. Esti. It's got like gluconolactone. It's got our vitamins in there, C, and lots of other vitamins, and niacinamide as well. Then we're going to finish. Okay. We're going to let the client know that they're not going to wash until the next day. This treatment can be done 2 to 3 weeks apart. If a client has less sensitive skin, 2 weeks apart, a little bit more sensitive skin, 3 weeks apart. So for those of you who are used to doing peels for hyperpigmented skin, or clients with melasma, you're probably aware that they recommend doing it in 3-week intervals when working with hyperpigmentation. And the reason being is because we want to hit that hyperpigmentation, hit that melasma. We want to hit it before the skin normally does its normal cellular turnover at the 28-day mark, plus or minus a day. So that's why 2 to 3 weeks is going to get you the maximum results with this advanced skin brightening treatment. Here are a couple before and afters. This actually is a client, was a new time client for me. And I did one advanced, following the protocol I just went through, we did one advanced skin brightening facial on her. And then 2 weeks later, we did a second one, and you can see significant lightening and brightening. Okay. So it's pretty exciting. She didn't have melasma. She just had a lot of pigmentation and just really had never really done much with her skin. So we were really excited to see the brightening. We now have a couple examples. And on the far left, this is Ma's. So Ma's gal, I just don't have her logo up by here, but Ma followed our advanced skin brightening, and she also used the Dr. Playton as well. And you can take a look and see how much of that melasma was broken up with one session. That's pretty amazing. Okay. So Dr. Playton alone with cold plasma, but then if you again use the Peel and Glow program with the spicules, further breaking this up, using the vitamin C, the melatonin mask, you're going to see how layering the protocols and the products like we are really gives you maximum results. This is Joyce. I don't know if Joy's on tonight, but Joy from San Diego. It's kind of hard to read, but she does have her little logo kind of going across the cheeks, but there is a significant brightening of the skin. It's just a little harder to see with a little bit of the logo there, but that's another example of skin lightening and brightening with this treatment. Okay. Next, we have our Peel and Glow Spicule Acne treatment. This is one that is a much simpler protocol, okay? But we're going to just do a quick walkthrough for this. So if you have a client that's dealing with acne, and it can be any grade of acne, dealing with scarring, acne scarring as well, so our PIH and scarring, you can go ahead and use this protocol as well. So it's going to be, we're cleansing the skin. We definitely want to recommend using cold plasma again, in this case for two reasons. Cold plasma to increase product penetration, but also because cold plasma has an amazing antibacterial effect on the skin. So with acne, we're dealing with bacteria, right? So combining that particular modality with this treatment is going to just give you extra great results. Okay. Now we're going to suggest exfoliating. If you guys have not heard of the Hexapeel, it's a two-step. They have 2 bottles, and the Hexapeel is one of my favorite products to use for disincrustation. So if you guys need to do extractions, if you don't need to do extractions with your client, let's just say they have grades 3, 4, you don't really need to do extractions. You could skip that step and not do the Hexapeel, but it is using a combination of glycolic acid and salicylic acid, along with some other buffered ingredients in there. So it actually is really great for all skin types, even teens. So what we go ahead and do is we mix up 1 or 2 pumps in a dish of each, apply it. We put saran wrap on the face just to help create an occlusive barrier to help further penetrate and soften the skin. And the extractions come out very, very easily. No need for any steam. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to proceed with the same process that we do. And we have a whole video, again, a demo just for this treatment to show you what we do. And you're going to go ahead and do the Peel and Glow portion, embedding the spicules. And they still need to be removed. But this time, before you actually remove it, you're going to go ahead and add your Peel and Glow mask, because you're going to calm and soothe the skin. And remember, when people have acne, usually there's a lot of inflammation, a lot of redness. The skin is a little bit more sensitive. And if you're gently putting in those spicules, the skin could look a little bit more red, right? So putting on the Peel and Glow mask is going to feel very calming to the client. And I like to do a little bit of galvanic on top of that, just to aid in a little bit extra product penetration. This is then going to stay on the skin for about 10 additional minutes. You're going to remove that. I keep the solution on the skin. Okay. And you just kind of massage it a little bit. Removal of this mask is going to remove a lot. It's going to break down a lot of the pearl powder. So it's going to be a lot easier to remove than the previous protocol. So you still will take some saturated 4x4s. That's my recommendation. I don't use a warm towel on either of these treatments because I want to minimize rubbing of the skin. So I go ahead and I soak probably like 5 different 4x4, non-woven cotton rounds, soak them in a bowl, layer them on the skin, and let it just, finish breaking down any of that powder, and then gently remove that. Now, again, the spicules are already embedded in the skin, so you're not going to remove those, but you're just removing the powder and the volcanic ash treatment. Then you're going to finish with hydrating. One of our favorite hydrating serums or moisturizers for oily acne skin is our Dr. Esti Aqua Infusion Water Drop. And then we finish with our Dr. Esti Mild Sun Protection, which happens to be an all mineral sun protection that also has sebum control in there. So if you guys haven't heard of that, our 2 favorite sunscreens that we love for all mineral is our HOP with our polylactic acid for anti-aging. And then we love our Dr. Esti Mild Sun Protection for our oily acne clients. Again, this treatment with my acne clients, I usually do bi-weekly. And that's typical when you were doing peels with clients, you would do them about bi-weekly if you were working with a client with acne. Now, could you do some blue LED and red LED? Yes, you could. You could do that at the end. You could do that in the beginning portion of the treatment as well. It depends on how much time you want to go ahead and spend with a client. And then I'm just going to show you a few little before and afters of these, just to give you an idea. Some of it's working with a little PIH. The bottom left is showing you what it could do with just grades 1 with more of the blackheads. And then as people have a little bit more acne, it's going to be successful with that too. So not painful. It's going to be pretty gentle, but will have a really positive effect on them. Okay. And our last protocol that I want to talk about is a really great one, especially for those of you who work and do a lot of work with brows and lashes. In talking to all my SDs, I oftentimes let you guys know, right, that one of the areas that I feel is really missing is you guys really focusing on the quality and health of the eye, right? So a lot of times there are people that do, focus on brow waxing, brow lamination, lash tinting, brow tinting, lash lips, right? And lash extensions, okay? Well, the client is bringing all that attention to the eyes, but they're not necessarily using good eye products or taking really good care of the eye area. So we have a product called Returning Doctor Eye Patch, okay? There is actually, even though the box says that there's like 5 sets in here, there's actually enough for 10 eye treatments. Okay. So what comes in there is you're going to get 10 packets like this. And in here, you're going to have 2 sets. So 2 eye patches per pack. And then it comes with 1 container of the Spicule implant cream. Okay. And this is something that is going to be, I added on to most of my facial treatments, and you can also add it on to the Tiffany Peel. So when you're finishing up with that Tiffany Peel, it's a pretty short protocol. You can actually go ahead and put the implant cream here, and I'm going to show you in a second how to do this, and then apply the patches and then remove it. So now you can actually target the under eye area as well as the rest of the face or other areas of the body. So this can be done weekly. It's 20 minutes total. So if you were going to be working in, let's say, doing somebody's lashes or brows, you can have that on at the same time. So it's not like it has to be an additional 20 minutes. The average charge is $35, and the kit, you guys, is $33 for a set of 10. So super affordable and delivers really great results. So what I love to use it for is for puffiness, fine lines and wrinkles. So it gets in there and basically is creating these little microchannels and stimulating the little fibroblasts. It's much gentler in terms of the not as heavy of a concentration of spicules as we have in the Peel and Glow program. So it won't feel as irritating to the client. Once you put the patches on, it's going to be on for 20 minutes. And if you guys try this yourself, you'll notice that the patches help to further penetrate the spicules. So at the end of 20 minutes, I actually feel it's more intense than it was when I first applied the cream. Safe for all skin types as well. And this was our drum roll, Rachel and I said. So like I said, I'm going to do a little demo in a second for you guys on this. But the drum roll was that we have a new HOP Spicule eye patch treatment coming out very soon. We're really excited to bring that to you. Rachel and I have been experimenting with various percentages of the cream. So again, the level of the concentration of the spicules in a product is going to determine how intense it is. Okay. So we're looking at 0.5%, 1%, 2%, right? So the higher the amount of spicules in a product, the more intense it's going to feel. So the great news is that we said that the spicules help to increase product penetration, right? They're creating microchannels, bringing in extra product. So for those of you who are not familiar, our House of PLLA product line uses polylactic acid again, that is a biostimulator, stimulate collagen. It's in a biostimulating filler. It's actually in dissolvable sutures. Also has tons of growth factors. So by being able to put that under the eye area, we're able to fill in hollows, fill in fine lines and wrinkles. So that is going to be an amazing extra treatment that you guys can now bring into the treatment room for your clients. So we're really excited about that particular new product coming out very, very soon. That should be out, we're hoping, within the next month, maybe beginning of 2024. Okay. Now, for additional support, and before we get off the slides here and I go kind of live with you guys again, I mean, without the slides here, just kind of blow up a little bit here. For additional support and education, if you guys want to screenshot this for yourself, just so you guys know how to reach us, we can be reached in many ways. On a daily basis, we are checking Instagram, we are checking Facebook, we are checking text messages, we are checking DMs. We're all over the place and emails, but we want to make sure that no one is ever struggling to reach us. So I've got our phone number there. We've got our email address, we've got Instagram, and our website. The other thing to note about the website is for those of you who want to schedule a complimentary one-on-one call with us, you guys know we do that for you. If you guys want to know more about the mentoring program, or you guys want to, for those of you who do not have an AO Medical account, we have a lot of you who are on and who have signed up who do not have a free AO Medical account. And again, it's a free account. You can sign up and you get access to the training and support. You get access to the website where you can go and see more information, pricing, things like that. So recommend getting that. A little tip for those of you who may be on or who are new too, because I can't say this enough, a lot of times emails don't get through from Rachel and myself to you, or from even AO Medical. So if you're not getting the emails that you're expecting, please check spam or junk, because sometimes people have to be like in the contacts before they start getting the emails. So if you are signing up for a new account, you will get an activation email sent right away, but we want to make sure that you guys are checking spam and junk, because a lot of people get the email sent and then their accounts are not actually activated, because you have to create a password and activate your account. We're going to do Q&A, and I'm going to, while you guys are putting your questions there, I'm going to just quickly put this on so you guys could see the application of the returning eye patch, how simple it is. Okay. So
yeah, and Lynn, I can I already have some. I can start while other people you can start entering your questions into the chat, and then I'll get to those as well. Okay, Lynn.
Yes.
The pH of the Tiffany Peel steps 1 and 2. I can answer that if you want.
You can.
The pH level of step 1 is a 4, and the pH level of step 2 is a 5. So it's very gentle. Second question. With the Tiffany Peel, can we combine it with dermaplaning during the same session?
I know a lot of you love layering your modality, like your dermaplaning, your microdermabrasion, your peels. My preference, after I've dermaplaned, my skin even feels sensitive, like an enzyme would be like kind of enough for me. Okay. And you guys, I know, and I don't know how many of you have actually dermaplaned yourself and then put a peel on or spicules after, but I would definitely recommend trying it on yourself first, because when a lot of the protocols that we come up with, and when we decide to like where we put modalities, or when we don't do certain things, it's because I've tried it on myself and I'm like, whoa, that is super sensitizing. And I have not super sensitive skin. So I would feel that the 30% peel post dermaplane, and the fact that you are now going to be penetrating spicules into the skin, which are kind of active, I think that would be a lot at the same time as a dermaplane. The other thing is my preference, and I'm just putting it out there, I know people can have a different view, is I feel like it's important to stay focused on what is the intention of this particular treatment. And I know dermaplaning a lot of times is to get rid of the vellus hair, make the skin look a little, more shiny and stuff. But I would personally do that at a separate time. Okay. Because again, this is a pretty active treatment, and you want to minimize, this is supposed to be the Tiffany's Peel is supposed to be your no downtime. So you don't want to minimize like the client doesn't wake up kind of red or blotchy or just irritated, right? And really sensitized. So I just want to mention that. But if you guys want to, go ahead and try it on yourself. If you feel like you happen to have a client where you're like, hey, I think maybe that would work, but definitely try it on yourself. I personally wouldn't do it, but like I said, go ahead and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Just people asking about the replay the classes, just to remind you that the classes I typically get out within a week on YouTube, and we're posting more every week. So you can subscribe there to get notifications. Also, if we support you, we are your rep, we can get you and tag you in on the class as it comes out as well. Instagram, please follow us, you guys. We do post content, and then we also post when our classes are as well at the Esti Sisters, with spaces in between the Esti and Sisters. And then on Eventbrite, you can also follow us on Eventbrite, and that gives you notification of upcoming classes. Okay, another question. This is regarding the peel and glow.
Rachel,
How often?
okay, hang on. I want to apply this really quick so you can see what I'm doing, but also want to mention that we have a lot of people that have joined us that don't have a rep. Okay, so if you guys don't have someone you're working with, we would be happy to work with you. Okay, because we feel that when you have somebody working with you and the others that have reps too, you'll understand that getting the extra support and really understanding the technology, the ingredients, the products, the protocols, that makes a huge difference. And those of you who have been working with us, you will probably agree. Yeah. And so I'm just letting you know that you're more than welcome. So anybody that does not have somebody that you're working with, you are more than welcome to join us. So I want to show you this. Okay, go on.
I was just going to say, reach out to us for sure.
Yes, reach out to us. And you can also put anybody who wants to have us get back to you guys in the chat section. You guys can comment and we'll go back through. We save all of the chat. So I can go back, and if you say, hey, I want to call, I want to connect, I need a rep, whatever, let us know. Okay, so for the implant cream here, I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's about a pea size total, okay, that I'm going to apply to half on one eye and half on the other. So you're just going to pat, 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 pat. And I go right literally under the eyelash. Okay, so I'm going to try to go up closer for you guys. For those of you who have me on speaker view, you'll see me really blown up here. Okay. So then there's plenty. You're going to take it down because the eye patch is actually pretty big. So I'm going to go down to the orbital, that bone here. And then I'm going to go where my little crow's feet would be. Okay. And I can already feel it feels pretty active to me. Okay. But I've been doing some other work on my face recently. So again, if a person has been doing regular exfoliation or using retinols or getting treatments, their skin's going to be a little bit more sensitive. So they will feel it. And so it feels prickly. So the key is going to let your clients know when you're working with spicules, it will feel a little bitey. It will. So they're less freaked out if they know to expect it. Okay. All right. So once I have this going like here, and again, I went kind of a big area here, and you can just kind of rub in a little bit. Okay. Then I take my little pack and I open my pouch. And then we'll talk in a sec, Rachel. I just want to show them because it's really wonderful. So it does come with 2 eye patches. So I'm going to take one and I'm going to go way under my lash line, and you're going to see how big these are. And they're also very, very thick. So that means that if you were going to do like someone's lashes or whatever, or brows, you can be doing them while the sucker's on. And if it needs to be on longer, it can stay on longer, the patches. Okay. Also, if you're going to do this with let's say you're going to work with a modeling mask or another mask, you'd put these on first, you would do a mask, you remove your mask in the treatment room, and then you remove this. Okay. So you can definitely not feel like you have to extend a treatment by 20 minutes just to do this. You kind of do it at the same time. So you're multitasking. Okay. So I'm going to just look like this for 20 minutes while I'm talking to you guys. So this is how I'm implanting. Okay. Awesome. That's it. Okay, Rach. That's it.
Okay. So regarding the Peel and Go program, how often would it be repeated, or could it be repeated when treating melasma and or acne scarring?
So if a client doesn't have super sensitive skin, 2 weeks apart is fine. And if a client is a little bit more sensitive skin, I would do the 3-week mark.
Okay, perfect.
And then again, I just want to mention about series, because this comes up a lot. Because a lot of you guys like to sell series and stuff, but it's kind of hard to know like how many a client would need, right? So my preference, and this is what I do when I'm training people and I do my client consultations, is when I'm talking about a treatment plan with them, I will say, hey, I would like you to come in every 2 weeks while we're trying to achieve a particular result, right? And once the client gets to where they're happy, where they feel like they've gotten enough, where they feel like they want to go into maintenance, then I get them on maintenance every 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. Usually 4, but occasionally it's 6 weeks. So I let the client kind of be in the driver's seat with that. And I find that makes the client feel a little bit more, I'm a little more comfortable or confident and trusting and going through the process, because as long as they keep seeing improvement, they're going to come in 2 weeks. They're going to come in 2 weeks. Okay. So whereas if you said, hey, I want to sell you a series at 4 to 6, they might not even be so sure that this is going to work. So I prefer that. You guys can do whatever works for your clientele. So I would just let a client know we're going to do a series 2 weeks apart. When you get to where you're happy and you're, you feel like you're at the level you want to be at. For those of you, though, that are working with melasma, that in particular is a really stubborn condition. If you are working with cold plasma, like the Dr. Platon, you are going to be doing probably a minimum of 6 to 8 treatments, about a 1 week apart. And you can do 2 times a week, but my preference usually with Dr. Platon is a week apart. I find that the longer I've been using the device, I can even stagger it longer and still have the skin keep healing in between sessions and still keep improving. So that's just my suggestion.
Okay, super. All right. So this is still regarding the Peel and Glow. When we are working with the Dr. Ion Vitamin C Ampule, there is a new Tramedy Vitamin C collagen serum that's out, and people are mixing that into the Dr. Ion Vitamin C instead of water. The question is that okay to nano?
Yes, you can do that. Oh, you mean the yes. Okay. So if you just want to do that, you're just talking about that by itself or as a part of the Peel and Glow?
Well, let's just address either. So are we
Okay,
nanoing the Dr. Ion Vitamin C? I think the vitamin C is the
we're going to
question.
talk separate. So you
Okay.
can nano, vitamin C can be nanoed, it can't be microneedled. Okay. So if you are going to use the vitamin C ampule, it's a powder ampule, and you want to add the new Tramedy collagen, vitamin C collagen to it, you can, and you can nano that. Yes. However, no microneedling. Now, if you are going to use the Peel and Glow program, because the skin has spicules in it, by the time you put that vitamin C ampule on, I would not nano. That face is going to be pretty well, I don't want to use the word sensitized, but it's got all those spicules in there. So I would not do a nano treatment on top of that. That's going to be too intense. Now, people have asked us, can you add the new Tramedy collagen vitamin C ampule to the Vita C instead of water in our advanced skin brightening? You can, but I will tell you that it's going to significantly increase the cost of the treatment. So if you are going to do that, I think each ampule, Rachel, I don't know if you can tell me what it is, if it's $20 or whatever, but you would definitely need to significantly raise your prices for the advanced skin brightening treatment if you're going to do that. Do I think you'd have to play around and see if you're going to get added benefit. I know that advanced skin brightening facial is amazing in the bomb like it is. So I don't know if it's worth to add the extra, $20 or so to the cost for that particular treatment. But I definitely think that if you were going to do a standalone nano with the Dr. Ion, powder, then that would make sense to add that in there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. The cost of the client, can you just briefly cover a little bit about what we charge for the Tiffany Peel and then also the Peel and Glow, or maybe even an add-on for the patches as well?
Patches, yes. Okay, so the patches I like to add on for $35. I just came up with this because it just seemed like a really easy, affordable add-on. Our cost per treatment is $3.30. So it's very cost effective. And the fact that you could also do it, like I said, during a treatment. So it's not like you have to add on an additional 20 minutes. Okay, so that's great. With regard to the advanced skin brightening facial, the protocol that we have, not just splitting up the Peel and Glow, I was charging $185 initially. But now that I am automatically incorporating the Dr. Platon, I've bumped my advanced treatments up by $25. Okay, so that's my personal choice, because that is like the big guns, the holy grail with cold plasma versus the tonisher. So initially we had the tonisher that we were using with our advanced brightening. Mine was $185. And then the Tiffany Peel, I was at $185 as well, but now that I'm using Dr. Platon, I bumped it up by $25. So not a significant increase, but enough because it's a bigger gun, so to speak, in terms of the cold plasma. And again, you guys can, work within what your area, what your clientele can sustain. If I give you, for those of you who are doing like the needle-free filler facial, if you want just an idea, my needle-free filler facial and my glass facial is about $250. My V-line firming facial is $225. So if that helps you, so those are kind of the ranges for my my treatments.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Somebody had asked the difference between high frequency and cold plasma, and I just responded back that we do have a whole beautiful class on that. That I'm going to tag them in the group. So I don't know if you want to just.
Just briefly, they're completely different. So high frequency, for those of you, it has a glass tube. There's gas in it, either argon or neon. You're shooting electrical current through it. It's sparking. It's very superficial. Not a lot of medical research out there. The research suggests that if anything, it might be a little bit helpful for, acne, like an antibacterial effect. There is a lot of medical research on cold atmospheric plasma. So if you guys want to Google cold atmospheric plasma, or CAP, that's what Dr. Platon is in the Tonisher. Cold atmospheric plasma, lots of research on vitiligo, on cancer treatments, on wound healing, skin rejuvenation, anti-acne, product absorption. It's an amazing technology, and it goes deeper into the skin. So with the Dr. Platon, or cold plasma in general, it actually has a longer wavelength that penetrates deep into the skin down to the dermis, whereas high frequency is very superficial. So they are completely different modalities. And also the cold plasma is being created between the ceramic plate and the skin. It's using atmospheric nitrogen to create plasma. And plasma, again, we have a whole class on it. It's the fourth state of matter. It's basically when you ionize or send current through a gas, nitrogen in this case, in terms of air, and then it has a lot of additional properties. In addition to, like I mentioned, oxygenating melanin in the skin. Again, high frequency isn't going to do that. It's very superficial.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about a chemical peel with either with the Peel and Glow program?
That's we already have that. So we're already using that. So our Dr. Esti goat milk peel is a 18.5% 8-hydroxy acid. So we already have the peel included in there. We're just letting you know that the Peel and Glow program by itself does not have any acids in it. But when Rachel and I created our advanced skin brightening facial, we knew that we wanted to do some kind of an additional exfoliation. So we added the Dr. Esti goat milk peel to that.
Okay. All right. Can you repeat the info about the new HOPI product?
So you saw this product that I put on, right? The Returning Dr. Eye Patch. The new HOP product is going to be a cream, and it's going to have the spicules in it, but it's going to have all the polylactic acid, which is a biostimulator to stimulate collagen. It's going to have growth factors, and it'll probably have some other great ingredients too. So that is going to be a new program coming out with a special patch, and so that you could use that as the eye treatment. So what would make it different from here? This one is the spicules themselves right now in this treatment are stimulating collagen, stimulating fibroblast activity, right? But what's going to be great about the HOP one is that it's going to now be penetrating the polylactic acid and the growth factors in there, which is not in here. So you're going to get the additional benefits of the spicules, the implants, right? You're going to have the additional benefit of the polylactic acid and growth factors being implanted into the skin as well, or pushed into the skin under the eyes. Okay, I'm coming down near the bottom. I think she might have logged out. Okay. Yes, protocols after the webinar. Let me see. Okay, Vegas. Yes, we're coming back to Vegas. Let me see if I missed anything. Okay. What would you pair spicules with an enzyme therapy mask? What would you pair spicules with an enzyme therapy mask? Again, if you don't want to follow the same protocols that we have, you could do in the beginning, if you're going to do the peel and glow, you could do an enzyme instead of a light peel. You could definitely do an enzyme treatment then as well. But definitely with the peel and glow. The Tiffany Peel, because it already has the alpha hydroxy treatments in steps 1 and 2, you wouldn't need to add like an extra enzyme or an extra exfoliating step in there. Let me hear. And while I'm looking through some of these, because I'm not sure where Rachel stopped off, if you guys have any comments, any feedback for us, we always love that too about the classes. So please don't forget to give us that information. Some of you have, but here. Okay. So I think this is where we cut off. Here we go. Okay. Both chemical peel and then, we did that one. Oh, no, you wouldn't do the Tiffany Peel and the Peel and Glow together because the Tiffany Peel already has spicules and it's a whole different, you're doing it for a different reason. So the Peel and Glow is going to be either used for hyperpigmentation and melasma, with the illuminating drops or the acne treatment. The Tiffany Peel is going to be all about hydration, does help with hyperpigmentation too, but it's going to be creating this really dewy, plump skin. So I would definitely do them as separate treatments. The best retail products, aftercare products for post-spicule. In all of our protocols, you probably didn't see it because it was so small. We always put recommendations at the bottom of our protocols of what we recommend for home care. So let's just take one example. If you're going to be doing the Tiffany Peel, typically it's anti-aging, right? Plumping, increasing cellular turnover, hydrating. So the HOP products using the polylactic acid and the growth factors would be really great, okay? Or the Hevatox products that have the topical neurotoxin for tightening, okay? And then you can look at, if you're doing the acne protocol, we actually have protocol suggestions for home care for acne. Then I would be doing like the AC control mousse from Dr. Esti. I would be doing the Aqua Infusion water drops for moisturization. The Duamore, by the way, you guys, makes a phenomenal. We have this in our acne class. So for those of you not familiar with this, Rachel and I are starting to get more of our classes put on YouTube. We did an entire class on acne. We did an entire class on rosacea with AO Medical. So we have these different classes for you guys, hyperpigmentation and melasma, and then we walk through like suggested products. We realized that with AO Medical, one of the advantages is that you have access to about 7 product lines. But you could also say, I don't want to say disadvantage, but one of the difficult things is you're like, how do we know how to weed through all that? So Rachel and I have taken that guesswork out for you. We already know and picked and chosen products that we've been using with our clients for years now that deliver results. So we have those available to you guys. So if you watch the classes on YouTube or you get a hold of our written protocols from like the slide deck and stuff, again, at the bottom, it'll say what we suggest. Okay, so let me continue here. What about microdermabrasion? What about a bit microdermabrasion and oxygen whipping balm mask under the Otoderm? Kate, I'm not sure if you mean in conjunction with spicules or by itself. So you could do, by the way, the Otoderm. For those of you, it happens to be on sale for this month for Black Friday. The Otoderm, which is the glass facial, it's a true oxygen generator. It's registered with the FDA, going through approval. Let you know that the oxygen dome, oxygen is so great for hyperpigmentation, impaired barrier, acne. So I love to use my oxygen dome under a lot of treatments, but I do charge an additional $50 for that. So if you guys wanted to put your client after the Tiffany Peel or after the Peel and Glow, you could definitely put them under the oxygen dome and charge an additional, I do 50, but you guys, up to you what you want to do. So definitely can combine it with that. I wouldn't do a microdermabrasion before I would do a Tiffany Peel with spicules because again, some of you guys might be asking this question because you haven't experienced the spicules. Once you actually experience this, and especially when you're pushing, you will feel how active it is. So you're embedding, you're creating microchannels. You're basically essentially putting these little needles in the skin. So you're probably not going to want to do too much more in that session. Okay, if you prefer, okay, hang on here. Let me go here. Printed material. Okay. In terms of printed materials and brochures, so when you guys check out, so when you are ordering and in your cart, if you scroll to the bottom of your cart, after you clicked off who you're working with, there is a note section. There are materials. So if you want to say, hey, I'd like some materials on the Peel and Glow program or the HOP program, brochures or Hevatox, Lydia does have flyers or brochures that you guys can get. So if you want to ask for a couple of those, things in the note section, that's what I recommend doing. Okay. Hang here. Still scrolling. Hang on, guys. We're working here. Okay. We already talked about the enzyme one. Still going. Hang on here. Vegas. Yes, we're in Vegas. Our plans, by the way, I would love to hear for those of you on. We are scheduling our trade shows for next year where we do live demonstrations in the booth and we do the needle-free filler facial classes. We are planning on going to Vegas and Long Beach, and we're thinking of going to Orlando. So I'd be love to hear if there are any of you who've been to the Orlando show. We think that we'd like to do something in the South for people that are kind of East, South, we lost our Chicago show, which is sad, but if anybody has any experience with Orlando or is kind of in that area, give us a thumbs up there. Okay, protocols right after the webinar. The protocols, yeah. So if people want to get the slide deck, you can go ahead and request that. But I will also mention that the video will be posted, and we're going to, when we have videos and demos, like on all these treatments, because we have demonstrations of each of these protocols on YouTube, at the end of the protocol and in the comments, we will have literally the written protocol for you guys. So there's going to be lots of ways to access the written protocols. Best serum for melasma. I have two favorites. I have the Dr. Esti Vita C Ampule because it has an alpha melite complex that helps to minimize, it suppresses melanin. And then we have a Dr. Esti Whitening A Serum with the gluconolactone, the vitamin C, and the niacinamide that I like to use. So those are my two favorites for melasma. The spicules, okay, so the spicules are pretty much gone after 72 hours. They start to self-release between 12 and 24 hours, and usually by 72 hours, they're all gone. They're out of the skin. So that's kind of the time frame. The cold plasma device that we use and we recommend and that we have at AO Medical is we have two different devices. We have a Dr. Platon, which is a really big kicked up 5-level cold plasma device. And then we have a smaller over-the-counter handheld device that is one head is galvanic and the other head is cold plasma. So it's about 20%, like 1/4 to 1/5 the amount of power that the Dr. Platon has, but it still is great for tightening, product penetration, and antibacterial effect. We just find that for those of you who are working with melasma in particular and glycated skin, and you really need that intensive skin tightening, the Dr. Platon, and for those of, again, anybody who wants to comment in here, we're getting gangbuster results with melasma and glycated skin with the Dr. Platon. But if you can't afford that to start and you're, just starting your business or whatever, the Tonisher is still a really nice intro device at $320. So that's a great intro cold plasma device. Okay, let me see here. Walk-in treatments, or do clients need to prep? They don't really need to prep. Any different, how should I say that? If I have a client coming in for the first time ever, I always do a first-time consultation with them, and I usually do like a basic intro facial with them because I want to get an idea of the sensitivity of their skin. You probably know this already, but a lot of times clients come in and they haven't been to a dermatologist. They don't even know what's really going on with their skin, right? You take a look at their skin and you're like, wow, seriously impaired barrier, or a serious case of something that looks like rosacea, even though we can't diagnose, right? And they might not even know that. So they may sign up for a facial treatment, and then when they come in, or they're on Accutane, or they're on, whatever, Retin-A or something. So if they're on a lot of, I just think that for your first treatment, unless you know the person, I probably wouldn't do a spicule treatment. Like I wouldn't do a peel the first time. But then once you've done that first facial with them, I have my clients come in like next week to start their treatment program. They don't have to wait till the next month. So if we decide like the course of action I want to take is a series of advanced skin brightening or Tiffany peels, they can start next week. Okay, let me see here. And tyrosinase inhibitors, it's not needed for these treatments. Like this is not going to stimulate, hyperpigmentation. So that's good to know. It actually helps to break it up. Okay. Cold plasma. Again, if you have questions specifically on that, again, watching the videos on YouTube, cost per purchase, we can talk about that too. $3,300 is for the Dr. Platon device. And once you have your AO Medical account, you guys, you have access to all the pricing in there. So getting a free account is going to be, for those, we have a lot of people that don't have an account, that's going to be really helpful. Come to Orlando. Yay. We would love to. Yes. So we're going to do that. New York show. We have thought about it, but we heard kind of mixed things on it. Not that although March in New York. So we'll consider that. I don't know if we would do this March, but we definitely could consider that if you guys think that that's a big one. But hopefully you guys could come down to Orlando. I know that it's easy for people to get to. The devices, AO Medical has devices on the website. We can help you with them. If you guys have never taken our Modalities medley class, we have that posted. We will make sure it's posted on YouTube. It is an in-depth class that we did earlier this year on, I think, 5 or 6 different modalities and when to use them and how to cocktail them to get phenomenal results. I have clients that come in just for modalities treatments, not even like skincare treatments. They just come in every 2 weeks for modalities treatments to tighten, lift, and slim. So that's really great. Are there any contraindications? Not really, actually, for this. The only contraindications would be like, let's just say you guys were following the full protocol for like the advanced skin brightening. If you were going to do the goat milk peel there is 0.5% salicylic. So for pregnancy, I probably wouldn't do that peel. I might do an enzyme, or I might do step 1 or 2 from the Tiffany Peel. Okay. So because lactic acid and lactobonic acid, alpha hydroxy acids, you guys, and polyhydroxy acids are pregnancy safe. It's the beta hydroxy or the salicylic that's not pregnancy safe. What's the difference? And the contraindications for modalities, we do have an intake form, and we do let people know, like, the big issues with electrical devices is, in particular, the 2 main red flag ones are going to be anybody on a defibrillator or anybody that has a pacemaker. Okay. So the cold plasma actually is really gentle and does not generate a lot of, it penetrates and creates the microchannels with the plasma, but doesn't put a lot of energy or electrical energy into the body. So there's very few contraindications with that. But again, usually we're looking at heart issues, right? Cancer, people with cancer, undergoing cancer treatments. I just got my certification in being oncology trained. And I definitely would, if somebody is undergoing cancer treatments, I wouldn't be doing anything like a spicule, anything that's going to be more aggressive, even though it's not super aggressive compared to microneedling. Their barrier is really messed up. Their immune system is, I would just, it's going to be about hydration. It's going to be, more of the oxygenating, the LED for them. Atlanta spicules. So with the spicules for the Tiffany Peel has 5 steps. You are exfoliating in steps 1 and 2 with an actual alpha hydroxy and polyhydroxy. Spicules in and of themselves do stimulate some cellular turnover. Okay. So you could call it kind of exfoliating, but you can add, if you're doing the peel and glow, we prefer to add an extra exfoliating step on the front end. Okay. So they will be, but they're very gently exfoliating. So it's not a lot of exfoliation. Okay. Can we use the eye patch treatment under LED? It would not get through. So for those of you not as familiar with LED lights, LED light therapy has to be done with either a clear serum or no product. Okay. So if I did LED lights, this is an opaque white paper and the LED would not get through. Now, if I remove these and then I want to do an LED treatment, then I would be able to do that, but just not on top of the patches. Artificial heart valves for Dr. Playdon. The valves I haven't really heard, because it's more of an electrical issue, right? So heart valves, I think, are, if I remember, like stents and stuff, or just opening the valves, if I'm remembering correctly, or something artificial. It's not going to be like an electrical issue. So the electrical device issues is something that could trigger something with the pacemaker or with the defibrillator or somebody with high blood pressure. That's more the issue, as opposed to, like a stent or a valve in there. Can it be under LED during the 20 minutes? You can, but just remember that if you have these eye patches on and you're doing LED is not going to get under the eye patch. So if you wanted to do LED to the rest of the face, you could do it. But I'm just letting you know that no LED is going to affect under this patch. Did you cover contraindications? Yes, we covered, there weren't a lot of contraindications. We covered do's and don'ts and safety of it. So spicules, again, really don't have a lot of contraindications. Spicules are very gentle, safe for all skin types, safe for pregnancy, safe for all Fitzpatrick levels. And again, the only contraindications would be if you're looking at adding modalities or adding extra peels or something, that's where you would have your contraindications. But the spicule treatments in and of themselves, whether it's the Peel and Glow program, whether it's the Dr. Eye Patch or the Tiffany Peel, there wouldn't be contraindications. I think I caught up. If somebody did not have your question answered, could you please put that really quickly in here? Because I think I went through everything, but if I missed something, I don't want to miss anything. So if I missed something, please let me know. Oh, my dear sister wants me to unmute her. Sorry. Okay. There you go, Rach.
Okay, hey, Lynn, did you cover the photos, whether they can use our photos for marketing?
You can use our photos for marketing, the ones that have the Esti Sisters logo on it. That's a great question. For those of you who are in our group, our Facebook group, if you see other people that have great photos and you're like, hey, those are awesome before and after photos, you want to make sure that you ask that person, because sometimes they put their photos in the group for us as a, an Esti community, excuse me, to see, but they don't necessarily want you guys to post on the internet. Now, I do know that most people are okay if, let's say you're with a client and you want to show a picture to your client, like you're on, your phone and you're like, hey, I want to show you some before and afters. That's usually pretty fine. We're just talking about if you wanted to like put them on social media or something where they're out there. So then I would definitely get approval from the person. Again, our Esti Sister stuff with our logos, usually those are pretty good. You can use it on cystic acne. Yep. But just remember, you're going to go especially if you're doing the peel and glow, you're going to be really gentle in pushing because the cysts are going to be more sensitive, right?
Yeah. And then if they want to set up a product consult or just a consult with
Yes,
us.
you can email us, you can Instagram message us. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And
And then there's a ability on our website.
Yes, go on, Rachel.
On our website, the estisisters.com, THEESTI sisters.com, there is a tab for booking a discovery call. Anybody can do that, even if you're currently working with us and want to, have more one-on-one time about a particular topic, you can do that as well.
And Michelle,
So,
you're in our group, the Facebook group. If you go into search, you'll type in Modalities class, Modalities medley, and you'll find it there. A lot of the classes we're still adding to YouTube, so we will have it there. But Michelle, that's where you can find it. Michelle asked the difference between Tonisher and Time Master Pro. The Tonisher is a one head cold plasma, the other head galvanic. Time Master Pro is a combination of low level ultrasound, electromuscle stimulation, and LED. So they're completely different devices. We love them both, but they're different. For the cold plasma, definitely would see a difference at the end of one treatment for sure. But I would definitely watch on YouTube the class on cold plasma and then our demo. It's super in depth. For those of you who are on our classes, we go super in depth. So watch the replay there and you will get a ton of information on cold plasma. So that's not a bad question. There's no bad questions. That's a very good question. I should say, not a bad question. So someone asked if you could use the HOP eye patches on the nasolabial bold or the melamental. I got a different thing. It's covering up here, folds. Okay. So when Rachel and I got the cream to try out the different levels of concentration of the spicule cream, I was like, Lydia, I love this. I want to put this all over my face with the PLLA and spicules. Okay. So yes, you for sure can. So if you want to put a patch and have it go down here, or whatever, you definitely can do that. So yes, you guys can be creative. Great question. Okay. Anything else before we go?
no, other than there were some people that wanted us to reach out to them. So we'll do that.
We'll do that.
Who don't have a rep, currently not working with anyone. So we'll do that. And if anybody wants to add anything else in there or that you'd like us to get back to you, please do.
Yeah, we'll keep the chat up for a few more minutes. We'll keep the recording going. So if anybody wants anything like extra information, support, any comments, any feedback, put it in now. We're not going to stop the recording yet, just so that we can make sure we capture all the chat. So we want to thank you guys for showing up on your Sunday evening. I'm going to remove these now. By the way, like I've told you, after you have these on, so when I first put the cream on, it felt a little, I could feel the little spicules, right? Once I have these eye patches on, it's really pushing it in much more deeply. So I do feel like, whoa, very active. Okay. So tonight, I'm not doing anything to that eye area. Tomorrow, I will, and for the next 3 days, I'm going to lightly just cleanse and put sunscreen here during the day. And that's it. No actives. Okay. But it does a great job of plumping, depuffing. So it depends on what the client needs. So if somebody has puffiness, it can help shrink puffiness. If somebody needs extra volume and works on fine lines and wrinkles, it helps to do that as well. So, and these can, again, be done weekly. So if you have clients coming every couple of weeks for lash extensions or, their lash or brow tint or whatever you're doing, you could be doing these add-ons regularly. The clients will love them.
Yep. And then Lynn, I just want to add to those of you that are still sticking around. Thank you. We'd love to hear about how you like the class, but also ideas for different business related topics for next year that you'd like to see, on building clientele, budgeting,
Setting up a
What are some
business.
other
Some of
examples?
you are just breaking into setting up a business, going solo.
Yep.
So you're probably not as familiar. Some of you are, but I have done for years business coaching, not just mentoring, but business coaching, literally starting and setting up businesses. And it's hard for people to get into a boot camp and follow a 12-week program. So we really want to do some intensive workshops for you guys, okay, that are going to be breaking it apart. So it helps us to know what your specific areas are that you're needing extra support with. And you're like, hey, because we know that there's a lot of stuff out there. You guys know that there's a lot of options out there. People are offering trainings and stuff. And you know, probably us by now. Some of you are new to us, but a lot of you are not. We really will show up, deliver, and we have, almost 40 years combined of successful, aesthetics practices. And our backgrounds are in business. Mine is in actually international sales and marketing, handling millions of dollars of budget and selling. So, we have that business acumen as well, not just the aesthetic side. So we want to be able to offer more to you guys, because as we do our conversations, our phone calls with you guys with the AO medical stuff, we are talking and trying to communicate and trying to help people grow their businesses, help with other things. So that is something. And then the other thing is, while those of you who are still on, the mentoring program that I have, it is a weekly mentoring program. There are several of you in here, and it was initially designed to help people that wanted continuing and advanced education in aesthetics. But because pretty much everybody in the program is self-employed, we do cover a lot of business topics. So we did a case study the other day where we had somebody that was going through some on the personal side. So on the business side, they needed to really figure out how to ramp it up and actually increase sales. Okay. And especially during the little bit of an economic downturn right now, right? So we did a super deep dive into her particular business. And what was really amazing is because everybody's business is different, right? So we were able to zero in on 2 areas that were probably areas that were not being addressed in a certain way that were really inhibiting her from growing her business and really having it be a little bit more successful where she's at. So that was really exciting. So for those of you who want more information on the mentoring program, we can send you a link, or you can get the link on our Esti Sisters website as well. But just want to
Do you want to talk
that.
about the cost of the mentoring program, Lynn?
The mentoring program, I like you guys to sign up for a year, to commit to a year, but you pay monthly, and it's $89 a month. So it actually is a steal in my opinion, and in my sister's opinion.
Yes, that is amazing.
Yeah, no, a steal meaning, because I mean, there are a lot of things out there on the market. I hear what people pay for things and for programs and stuff like that. And I know a lot of you are in my program, and if you guys do want to comment in there, but we have people that are in there for a couple of years now, 3 years, because of the community. And it's not just, baby training. We do deep dives in everything from ingredients, case studies, skin conditions, you name it. And like I said, all the business stuff. So today, and that's one of the things that's really difficult for people that are self-employed. You don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of. It's just you, yourself, and yourself, right? So being able to be a part of a community and have other people that can help lift you, support you, and guide you and give you that push to actually grow and keep learning is so helpful, because we can get really stagnant in our businesses. For those of us who have been doing it a long time, you can get a little bit, I don't want to use the word complacent, a little bored, passionless, whatever. So that's one of the things that AO Medical has done for us, is the new technologies, the new ingredients, the new products have really caused us to kind of like have a renewal in terms of what we were doing for our businesses. But me starting the programs, the mentoring and business programs, working with you guys is like, that's why Rachel and I show up. We love to work with other Esties and help you guys. It's just our jam and our passion. So anybody interested in that, we can definitely get you information on that too. Okay, so are we almost done? Anybody last minute, a couple more minutes, and then we'll sign off. But thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And then
Thank
we'll
you.
be in touch. Happy Thanksgiving too, early. Okay.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
Nice seeing you. Thanks for being on. We appreciate it. Take care.